I really do think that it would be Billy's anarchist dream for Meadowlark to pay him as a consultant, and then at the end of his findings, he comes to me with a report, and he says with a giant smile on his face, Dan, your problems throughout your company, they're all me. I've discovered the problem. They are all me.
But the good news, I have the solution.
Promote me.
No one better equipped to solve the Billy problem than Billy.
Sam Morril is with us. This is early for him. He's a late night comic. He lives a big, loud life at night, and he's got more of those T-shirts than any human being I know. There it is, the Isaiah Hartenstein Die Hard T-shirt. Look at him. He's feeling himself today. I was surprised you weren't at the game yesterday. I should tell the people, he's our senior Knicks correspondent. He's the commissioner of Fandom. He's got shows coming up in Lexington, in Southern California, in Atlantic City, Rochester. He'll be in Miami. And same time tomorrow is his Netflix special. What happened? I thought for sure you would be there soaring behind your team last night.
If there's a game 7, I'll be there, man. I get too nervous, man. I'm not fun to watch these games with. I'm panicking. I'm a wreck. Thank God they blew that one out in the second half. But yeah, I'm not fun to watch these with. I don't want to be there.
Do you want a game 7?
Of course not. I said if there is one, I'll be there, and I'll definitely be there in the next round. But I was pretty nervous yesterday. I got to be honest.
Sam, you haven't been nervous throughout this. You've told me at every turn that you think you can beat Boston. What happened?
Well, I forgot that Jaylen Brunson is like King Henry V, and he doesn't need to have his full force. He can be outnumbered, and he can still have a depleted army and win the war.
Mm-hmm. Sam, I thought the same thing. After Game 3, they squandered an opportunity, Game 3, to win that game on the road, go up 3-0. It came back 2-2. I was very nervous headed into last night.
You thought the same thing, that Jaylen Brunson was like King Henry?
Well, that too, yes. Yeah. But I was nervous. Knicks fans were nervous last night, you know?
We were nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that Siakam finally started to play well with the absence of OG Anunoby. OG was shutting his ass down. OG is so essential. I mean, we're down a lot of players right now. This is nerve-wracking for us. I think we're clearly the better team. I think even if you're a reasonable Pacers fan, you realize the Knicks are the better team. We're playing down 4 key players. It's crazy.
So that's what your answer would be, right? When I ask you, well, how did your confidence become something so shaky that in the second round it could be tested by a 6 seed? It's just the injuries, right?
Just the injuries, of course. I think losing OG Anunoby was a big blow because we had to play, and kudos Tibbs for adjusting. He went with the small ball lineup, and it worked out starting Deuce yesterday. So I liked it. And Precious gave us great minutes. And same shout out to Alec Burks for being, his number was called. I know a lot of Knicks fans were nervous with Alec Burks.
Not me.
He's been balling, dude.
Yep. I told Dan that guy can give you 20 points on any given night, and he's done it. He's done it twice. I mean, Dan, your thoughts? Apologize to Alec Burks.
He hadn't given you 20 points since February.
19 a game, the last 2.
The shirt. Take me, for the audio audience, Sam, just take me on a tour of the shirt you're presently wearing.
Isaiah Hartenstein, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yeah, I've been a big Hardenstein supporter for a long time. Knicks fans, we believe in our players, and we don't like when major media people trash them. And that only made me a bigger Hardenstein fan, seeing how he didn't become shaken. He became powerful. He became a monster on the glass, and you saw it last night. His defense he's been the anchor for us. He's been amazing. And 12 offensive boards last night. This guy is we need him next year. I hope he stays a Knick. He's been incredible.
What'd you think of the Pacers coming out thinking they're a bunch of tough guys at the Mecca last night? Huh? Got a little chippy there, Sam.
I mean, Dante just made me think of like Jamie Kennedy and Malibu's Most Wanted, but like tough. You know what I mean? Like, I love that kid. I think he's like, he's just a badass. I love him. He's, yeah, man. It was a mix between that and like Rabbit and 8 Mile, Like, this dude I believe in Dante. I think he's got that like 90s Knicks kind of edge to him. So does Josh Hart. We're a lot of tough players. And look, when Pacers fans are complaining, like Knicks fans, you want a tough series, but you complain about fouls. I don't care if it's physical. You just got to blow the whistle. It's hilarious that I saw Bill Simmons post like, oh, the Knicks and Scott Foster. The Pacers were getting every call in the first half. It was comical, I thought. And they were getting every call in game 3. Game 4 didn't matter because they beat our ass. But game 3 and game 5, game 3, they gave them one back for what they thought they gave us in game 1. And then last night they were getting every whistle. We just happened to outplay them.
WFAT. How we do it.
I'm curious how it is that you're too nervous for a game 5, but you'll be there for a game 7.
Because it's a must win.
How do your nerves end up playing out? Did you really not go yesterday because you thought it would be too much for your anxiety and you don't like how you behave?
Well, I usually, if I don't go, I usually have people over, and I need to be alone.
So you have the people over, and they do what with you being this way? They know you well enough to know it's okay that he's screaming at the television?
Yeah, they like it. I have enough crazy people in my group that they go nuts too.
Did you ask Sam if he wanted a game 7? No one wants a game 7 when you're up 3-2.
No,
it was an odd question.
Here's why I would tell you, like, maybe not fans, but if you're telling me
you want it.
No, yes, I want it for a number of different reasons.
Pacers want a game 7.
Yes. Here's my question when you say that it's odd, though, and I understand why you would say it. If you're confident in your team, if you tell me again and again that Mecca's the hardest place to play, and it's the greatest sound, and I want to remember something forever, and you're better than the other team, why not one game for everything? You get to watch it. You get to be there. You get to remember this series forever when Larry Johnson is making a 4-pointer.
I'll remember this series forever regardless. I want to end this thing in Indiana.
You will not.
Dan, Jaylen Brunson got hurt. He came back in the second half. I'll remember this series forever.
Yeah, also, Dan, I didn't appreciate your tone with the Mecca's the hardest place to play. It is the hardest place to play.
Right. Yes.
And the fans are the best. Are we going to talk about Draymond's ridiculous unlikability on TNT?
Well, let's play this sound for Sam and the audience.
Why does Knicks fans think I hate the Knicks, though?
Why do they? Because you did say you didn't like New York.
No, that's a lie.
But I thought you
No,
said.
I told the truth about the team. And the truth about the team was it's a fluke.
That's why they don't like you. That's why.
But I
you're
didn't say
saying that
nothing
their
about the
good
Knicks.
season that they've had in the last whatever, you said is a fluke.
This year is what you said.
He said this year's team is a fluke.
Okay, so here's what I said.
A fluke.
I said this team, they're winning right now. And it could be, I think it's a setup like the Atlanta Hawks in 2021.
Right.
And if you remember back to maybe 2016-17, the Portland Trailblazers paid all of those guys because they had that one good year, and then they got jammed up. And I think this New York Knicks team could be a setup to get jammed up.
Is that what you're objecting to, or something else?
If you're comparing Alan Crabb and Al-Farouq Aminu to OG Anunoby and all these other guys, you're out of your mind. Knicks are a fluke. We're down 4 rotation players, including Julius Randle, an All-NBA guy. OG Anunoby, a defensive beast. You remember defense, Draymond. You used to play it before you went straight for the headlock. Remember? You want to talk about a fluke? You being in the Hall of Fame is a fluke, Draymond. If you aren't drafted the Warriors, not only are you not in the Hall of Fame, you might be in a psych ward right now, or best case playing in Europe. Steph saving your career is a fluke. No one else would be this patient with you. No other star. So maybe instead of trying to rain on our parade and the first joy we've had in years, let us enjoy it the way the rest of TNT, like Kenny Smith, is letting us enjoy it.
I love when you get pissed off.
Well, Draymond's not here. You know that, right, Sam? That was just a video.
He's directing.
I'm talking into the camera.
Right.
Listening.
Attaboy.
A genuine question, though, when it comes to this Knicks group, like if there are no moves made and you have this core moving forward for the next 5, 6, 7 years, this is the group. What do we think is the higher likelihood, that this group wins a championship or that they never get back to the conference finals again? Ooh. Because I kind of think it's probably the latter, given the people who were out in the East this year.
I think, first of all, if you think Trae Young has the leadership or the talent of Jaylen Brunson, you don't watch basketball. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we are missing – do you not hear what I'm saying? We're missing 4 key players, and we're still doing this well. So I think you have to look at what our potential is. I think what you saw in January when Randall and OG and all the guys were just banging, we were a team that beats you up and wears you down. and we had to change our identity a little bit to compete. Luckily, Tibbs has made adjustments, and I think he's made key adjustments, starting McBride yesterday, and having Precious come off the bench for energy. So, look, I think our ceiling is pretty damn high, and maybe we're not done making moves. That's why you stockpile first-round picks. I think there's a couple more moves Leon might make, but to act like we're a fluke and not in a great position, the best position we've been in 25 years. Draymond, I thought you were like a high IQ basketball guy. I thought that was your whole thing. I respect Draymond Green. I think he is a Hall of Fame player, but you clearly, I don't get the anger at New York. Like, we're just enjoying our team. We're just happy. We're having a good time. Why is everyone being like, well, this is a fluke. This isn't for real. If you saw your friend in love and he was like, not a cool guy, maybe hadn't found a woman in a while, would you be like, dude, this is bull? No.
I might actually.
Or would you let him enjoy love?
It's a fluke.
He's screaming at the camera. Draymond, would you let me enjoy love, please? I am in love. I haven't felt this way about the Knicks this century.
Jeremy asked him a question, and he was still responding to Draymond Green.
Well, this was real professional work by the professional comedian. I've seen coaches over the years say to themselves, I don't care what the questions are. I'm going to say what I want to say. He did get around to answering Jeremy's question, but he had a little more to slice off for Draymond there. He pissed you off last night. People are pissing you off, Sam.
It's a fluke.
Yeah. I mean, but I'll say this. I love when the media counts the Knicks out because I think this is a team that wants to be counted out. I think they thrive on it. I think it's fuel. When you saw Siakam, who, by the way, has looked meh. He's had a couple games, but talking to Jaylen Brunson and Brunson going back, it's a long series. I love that. I love that Jaylen Brunson's like, let us be the humble guys. You guys talk your Tyrese Halliburton talked a lot of in Indiana, and he can, but that's not our style. Our style is more like we're tough, we're going to play ball, and let Tyrese talk a lot of shit because he was pretty quiet last night.
Are Sam and Stugotz surprised at all that Jaylen Brunson already has more playoff points than Carmelo Anthony?
I'm not personally, and no disrespect to Carmelo, but I do think that Jaylen is the best Knick since the 90s. I just think he's had a pretty big load in his shoulders, and he's delivered. He's been incredible.
I am surprised by that because no one could see this coming. Like, no one. Like, Carmelo, yeah, that is surprising. Like, Jaylen Brunson in the moment, this is great, but no one could see, at least I couldn't see, that Jaylen Brunson would arrive at a place where he has more playoff points than Carmelo.
It's a fluke.
I mean, how do you not look at Jaylen Brunson and just love this guy? How do you not look at the whole team and love this team? They all were guys. They remind me a little bit of Detroit in 2004. A lot of guys who people kind of gave up on, like Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, guys that kind of didn't get their due. Ben Wallace, those types of players. How do you not like this team?
Stugotz has a revised list of top 5 Knicks of all time based on yesterday's proceedings, I guess. Number 5 or OLI?
I have OLI. Yeah, I have a ton of them.
All right. You've got a lot of outside looking in.
Just some, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Dave DeBusschere. Bill Bradley. Earl the Pearl. Walt Clyde Frazier. Patrick Ewing. Nicotine. Josh Hart, Jaylen Brunson.
You're just naming Knicks?
Number 5.
Nicotine has fallen out of the top 5?
It was number 1. That was a week ago. Today's today.
Number 5.
Alec Burks.
Number 4.
Deuce McBride.
3.
Dante DiVincenzo.
2.
Isaiah Hartenstein.
1.
The Mecca.
Sam, how do you feel about that list?
I love Isaiah Hartenstein. I love these guys, so I'm fine with it.
Thank you.
I think whatever it takes tampering wise, I will bring Hardenstein back. Maybe a tour of New York, something special to make him believe that this is the greatest city in the world. I hope we're able to keep him an OG. That's how I feel. So I think they're both key. going forward, and key to our defensive identity, which is what Knicks fans want. They want a defensive team always.
Sam, I know Brunson's been great in this series, but if the Knicks win the series MVP should go to the Mecca, right?
I think, look, it's a team game, man, and I love what Hardenstein said about the Knicks fans. Where after Game 4 and the Knicks got crushed, he was like, "We don't deserve the amount of support they give us if this is how we're going to play." So I think they're aware of how great the Mecca is and how great the fans are, and I thought that was like a very, very smart thing for Isaiah to say. I think Josh Hart said something similar. So they know that it's an amazing place to play. There's some other great arenas in basketball, but I don't think anything touches MSG.
It's a fluke.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard
Stop
Show.
it.
Do you think the Knicks will be able to keep Hartenstein with a tour of New York?
You don't know how I do things, man. I got great restaurants lined up, whatever he needs.
It's likely going to come down to money, Sam.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was you giving the personal tour. I thought it was one of those
I'll give
duck
him a tour.
tours.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a big off season. We're going to have fun. He's going to be like, "How could I leave the city? Katz's Deli. This is amazing. They don't have this in Charlotte, or whoever tries to court me. I don't know." We're going to keep him. It's going to be great.
Sam, if there is indeed a Game 7 that no Knick fan wants to see, but if there is one on Sunday, I would like to come. I'd like to sit courtside with you, and I am bringing along a good friend of mine if you're interested, okay?
Who's
Adam
that?
Schefter. Me,
Oh, wow.
you, Schefter, courtside at a Knicks game. How do we get it done?
But you have to wait a minute. You have to get him to get you now 2 tickets, or does Schefter have his own
These are
ticket?
pricey tickets. These are not easy to get.
Listen, it's on Dan. Me, you, and Schefter. What do you think?
I think I'm going with Chrissy D on Sunday if there's a Game 7, but we'll see.
Who is
He's
that?
our senior Knicks correspondent. He's too scared and nervous to go see a Game 5. He's Sam Morril.
You understand? There's no choice in a Game 7. Game 5, I'm like, I can't.
Right, you
there's
have to go,
free
right.
throws I can't look at. I go nuts. But Game 7 is do or die. So there's a Game 7, but man, I'm worried. I'm worried. Mostly about OG's health, because I do know we need him to make this Boston series even interesting. Because what's tough is having all these injuries in a year where I do think Boston is beatable. And we've had so much bad injury luck. Obviously, Boston's a great team, but I do think anything can happen in the playoffs, as we've seen, with your Miami Heat team beating them. Miami played a tough style basketball. And I think that this Knicks team has like a Knicks culture, and I think they could make it interesting, but it's going to be tough if we keep having these injuries.
He's the commissioner of Fandom. He's our senior Knicks correspondent. He's got shows coming up in Lexington, in Southern California, Atlantic City, Rochester, and here in Miami. And I will tell you again, the Netflix special, it's excellent, as is all of his work. Same time tomorrow. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, guys. Go Knicks.